Hello everyone and welcome to PendulumEdu, and in this session we are going to discuss another set of words for you from a particular article. The article for today heads as Glimmer of Hope. Now, Glimmer of Hope itself is a phrase and I hope and believe that we have heard of it. If not, हिंदी वर्जन तो इसका ज़रूर सुना होगा, जिसे हम कहते हैं आशा की किरण। ना ही यहाँ पर कोई किरण है, ना ही यहाँ पर कोई आशा है, बट इट इज़ आशा की किरण, मतलब एक रे ऑफ होप है, तो उसको ही ग्लिमर ऑफ होप कहा जाता है, विच इज़ a situation where there is a slight chance of positivity or something positive to happen. That is a glimmer of hope. Now let's see, हम आशा की किरण की बात करें on what particular topic? On India-China 5-point consensus. Now, there have been a consensus between India and China, and there have been 5 major points listed there, and on this we believe that this has come up as a ray of hope. ये आशा की किरण जब क्या है, until unless there was a standoff at the borders, right? We saw that at the border when India and China were against each other, there was a deadlock, there was a standoff between the two nations. And after that, if there is this 5-point consensus, it comes as a glimmer of hope. Consensus is a noun, all right? It means a general agreement. What is it? It is a general agreement, जिसे हम कहते हैं सहमति या आम या आपसी सहमति. That is consensus in Hindi, and that is in English. So there has been an agreement between India and China, and what does this agreement carry with it, or what does it upholds? We will come to know in the upcoming paragraphs. It says, India and China have taken the first step to begin real disengagement at the border. Real disengagement, like nowhere, they won't be participating in or engaging. So they have taken the first step. And how would this come into being, having a no engagement at the borders? How will this come up? We will come to know. The 5-point consensus reached by the foreign ministers of India and China in Moscow. Remember this. The 5-point consensus occurred or held in Moscow on Thursday provides a glimmer of hope of a diplomatic solution. Diplomatic is a mutual or some sort of bent solution, like wherein both the parties have compromised on some or the other thing and they have made a mutual agreement. While thousands of troops from both countries remain deployed along the border. Now, remain deployed among the borders, thousands of troops are still there. They have been sent right there on the borders. And amid that, these two foreign ministers have made this consensus, or have reached on this consensus. Now, what is this? It is, however, only a glimmer. ये सिर्फ एक किरण जैसा ही है. अभी हमें इस चीज़ को एक तरीके से we cannot affirm it or ascertain it, but it's a kind of thing that we can just assume. Each point outlined in a joint statement. Outlined, that is stated in summarized form. संक्षेप में कोई चीज़ को अगर हम has been affirmed previously by the two neighbors. Affirmed means it's a verb which means, I'll wipe off the screen and write it. Affirm is a verb which means to state with assurance. Okay. Previously by the two neighbors post in the past boundary agreements and in talks held since June that have failed to de-escalate tensions. Verb. De-escalate means to reduce the intensity of something. So किसी चीज़ को कम करना, किसी चीज़ की जो इंटेंसिटी है या तेजना उसको कम करना, तो वो सब फेल रहा है. पहले भी ऐसा हो चुका है दैट बोथ पास बाउंड्री एग्रीमेंट्स एंड जो सिंस जून से जो चलते आ रहे हैं, सब कुछ उन सब में अगर देखा जाए तो फेल हो गया है. उन कभी भी टेंशन्स कम नहीं हुई हैं. The LSE remains tense, facing its worst crisis since 1962. After 1962, if we just have a look at it, 2020 is the year wherein the LSE has experienced or faced its worst. Both sides have agreed to take guidance from previous understandings, including on not allowing differences to become disputes, not allowing differences to become disputes. जो कहते हैं ना, हम जो मतभेद हैं जो उनको मनभेद नहीं बनने दीजिए, तो इस तरीके की बात है. वही वो कह रहे हैं कि किसी चीज़, छोटी सी बात को बड़ा बनाने की हमें ज़रूरत नहीं है, और हम पुरानी चीज़ों से इस चीज़ को सीख ले सकते हैं. एंड वी कैन जस्ट टेक लर्निंग फ्रॉम दैट, लाइक व्हाट वी डिड प्रीवियसली एंड हाउ वी मैनेज्ड द क्राइसिस अर्लियर, एंड वी कैन डू इट एज ऑफ नाउ एज वेल. A formulation of 2017 that has not lived up to its promise. जैसे कि अभी देखा जाए 2017 का ये फॉर्मुलेशन था, बट both of the parties or both the nations have not abided by it, have not followed it. They agreed the current situation suits neither side, like everyone agrees, like neither India nor China, दोनों को ही profit नहीं है या दोनों ही suited form में नहीं है. Troops should quickly disengage, maintain proper distance and ease tensions. Though दोनों ही sides पर problems है, like nobody can relax, sit and relax, but still the troops should hold back, they should take back their steps, and they should ease tensions on the borders. This has been suggested. Further, it has been said, both sides said they would abide by all existing agreements. Abide by is a phrase which means they will support or follow. कहते हैं ना, किसी चीज़ का पालन करना या उसके साथ खड़े रहना. ठीक है. सारे agreements continue the dialogue and expedite work. Expedite is a verb which means they will increase the process or intensity. कहते हैं ना, शीघ्रता बढ़ाना, तो वो वही करेंगे, वो उसको जल्दी जल्दी आगे बढ़ाने की कोशिश करेंगे. And expedite work on finding confidence building measures to maintain peace, and they would try their best to quickly and at the most earliest try to build the confidence to maintain peace amongst each other or between the two nations. At the same time, stark differences remain. Stark is an adjective. Stark is an adjective which means intense or deep. कहते हैं ना, एक अलग ही कठोर. Differences remain, including on the key question of whether both sides will return to the status quo and prior to China's transgressions. Status quo, and it is a phrase, first of all, which means earlier state or previous state of affairs. जो चीज़ जैसी पहले स्थिति थी, जो पुरानी स्थिति थी, जैसा पहले था वैसा. सो कहते हैं कि अगर बड़ा क्वेश्चन ये है कि क्या चीज़ें वापस से पहले जैसी हो सकती हैं, जब उस कब से कितना पहले, जब तक चाइना के ट्रांसग्रेशन से पहले. ट्रांसग्रेशन इज अ नाउन एंड ट्रांसग्रेशन इज द एक्ट ऑफ गोइंग अगेंस्ट लॉ. जब तक चाइना ने ऐसा कोई काम नहीं किया था जो लॉ के अगेंस्ट था, उसके पहले जो स्थिति थी इंडिया और चाइना के बीच में, क्या हम वहाँ वापस जा सकते हैं या नहीं? दिस इज द बिग क्वेश्चन. So I'll wipe out the screen and write the meaning of transgression, though I've explained you it just now. So as I said, transgression is a noun which means a situation or an act where we go against the law. Alright? The issuing of the joint statement was somewhat unusually accompanied by separate press statements which struck discordant notes. Discordant is an adjective. See, if there were different statements given, जब joint statement दी जा रही थी तो उसको बिल्कुल ही अनयूजुअल तरीके से प्रेस स्टेटमेंट्स में अपने अलग से स्टेटमेंट्स दे दिए, सेपरेट स्टेटमेंट्स अटैच कर दिए, जो कि which led to, which struck discordant notes. Discordant means it is an adjective which means disputable, जो कि आक्रामक हो सकते हैं या जो कि आपत्तिजनक हो सकते हैं. On key issues, India stressed that peace on the boundary was essential for ties and that recent incidents had impacted the broader relationship. If you talk about the present situation and if you talk of the bigger picture in the coming years, in the coming 5 to 10 years ahead, then the present situation has created an immense impact on the future relationship or the broader relationship of the two nations, which is something of deep concern, and they have to give a thought to it. The Chinese statement, on the other hand, sought to emphasize the importance of moving the relationship in the right direction and to put the border in a proper context. Now, the Chinese statement is that they should think, instead of working or instead of fretting over the present situation, the Chinese statement is that they should think of future, they should move ahead and should try to resolve the tensions at the borders. China's statement also quoted India's foreign minister as saying India believed China's policy toward India had not changed and it did not consider relations to be dependent on the settlement of the boundary question. So China's foreign minister has himself added this, that India trusts China, India believes China, and India is there with China, and it trusts this policy towards itself, the Chinese policy towards itself, without any doubt about whatever is happening on the border, whatever the situation is. India is least bothered of it, but apart from that, keeping it aside, India still trusts China, the policy that it holds for the country. Now, this is China's foreign minister has quoted that China has quoted that India's foreign minister believes so. Okay. Now, further it has been said that this characterization of India's stand was a sharp contrast from Delhi's recent public statement. Now, when China's statement also quoted India's foreign minister as, so China ने quote किया है और ये एकदम contrasting था किससे, the recent Delhi में जो public statements हुए हैं, which have emphasized border peace as a prerequisite. Prerequisite is a noun which means a condition needed for something, like something needed prior to start something, and एक तरीके की शर्त, तो वो एक शर्त है border peace आगे बढ़ने का, to take forward the broader relationship, वो border peace उस तरीके का शर्त है. जबकि चाइना कहती है कि इंडिया के फॉरेन मिनिस्टर ने ऐसा कहा है कि this is aside और उनके जो आपसी relation है वो अलग है. Moreover, a day before the talks, China's official news agency issued a commentary placing the onus is a noun which means responsibility. कहते हैं ना जिम्मेदारी, किस पर डाल दी? On India to diffuse tensions, accusing India of reckless provocations. Reckless is an adjective which means unnecessary or careless. Okay, provocation is noun. Provocation means the act of provocating, the act of instigating, किसी को उकसाने की कोशिश करना. उकसावा देना तो वो होता है provocation. Telling India to learn from history and reiterating that China will not lose an inch of territory, that China नहीं हिलेगा, China अपनी territory नहीं छोड़ेगा. They say the same. And they have reiterated means they have stated it again and again. Reiterate means to state again and again. I will wipe over the screen and explain you. Reiterate is a verb which means to state again and again. किसी चीज को दोहराना. It is welcome that India and China have finally found something to agree on. It's fine, they have something to agree on. Thursday's consensus, however, is only the first step of a long road ahead. The continuing rounds of talks should be aimed sincerely at disengagement and not at presenting a veneer of diplomatic engagement, even while China strengthens its hold along the LSE. The continuing rounds of talk should be aimed sincerely at disengagement and not presenting a veneer of diplomatic engagement. Veneer is a noun which means like kind of pretension, like दिखावा. तो इस चीज़ का दिखावा या एक मुखौटा पहनने की आवश्यकता नहीं है, जिसे हम हिंदी में मुखावरण भी कहते हैं. मुखावरण तो ये करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, ढोंग करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है डिप्लोमेटिक एंगेजमेंट का. Even while China strengthens its hold along the LSE, India will need to verify before it can trust each of China's steps from now on, because the kind of transgression that has taken up, the separate press statements that have been given up. So after this, India has to be very, very particular on trusting China's steps or China further on. So this was the entire discussion on the Glimmer of Hope that was right there. And this is actually a glimmer only. We are not sure whether this will work out or not, whether this consensus is what India is looking forward to or not. Kindly practice the word list. The list is there on the site in the study material section. Go there, look for it, and you will get the list of the words right there. The word that I want you to focus on is consensus, and you might have seen that it has been used a lot. It is noun, which means a general agreement. So I shall see you soon in the next session. You can frame your sentence with this word and the words that we've discussed today. Any doubt, you can let us know in the comment section. I shall see you soon in the next session with yet another article to discuss with you. Till then, as I always say, keep learning and growing. Thank you so much, and not to forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for regular sessions with us.